This one has a little bit of a different turn signal sound than other Jeeps. It also has an 8-speed transmission, which is different from a lot of other Jeeps. I've been accustomed to Jeeps having the 9-speed ZF transmission, which has a different shifting experience. This one's kind of different for me. So the turn signal system is a little bit different. Maybe that's from a Fiat or something like that. But it does have the buttons on the back of the steering wheel, which is really good, you know, for Jeep. I'm glad they didn't do away with those. So yeah, a little bit different driving experience that I'm used to for Jeep. 8-speed instead of the 9-speed, a little bit different shifting going on. And it is, when I first started driving it, one of the things that was noticeable, the first thing I noticed anyway, was the bulge in the hood right here. It's just it feels like you're kind of like, your visibility is a little bit limited there, especially when you have the super wide pillar up here. And then add that to the side mirror, I don't know, it just seems like you got to get used to the visibility, not just in the back, but here in the very front of the vehicle. The first thing I noticed when I got in the vehicle and started driving is the visibility here in the front. It's not bad, but it's something you have to get used to. Like, it has this huge bulge right here in the hood. You don't actually see the hood from my perspective. It just looks like dash, and then you have this, you know, basically you can't really see where the front of the vehicle is, which is not really good for off-roading. Plus you have this exceptionally wide base of this front pillar, which is like super wide, so it gets in the way of your visibility. You have a little tiny gap here, and then you have the side mirror. So from here all the way over is just non-stop visibility limitations. If you're out on the open road like this, it's not really a problem. But if you're just in tight spaces or in off-road trails or whatever, this is an off-road capable vehicle in theory anyway. It's, you know, it could be a little bit better as far as the visibility. I think it's just the design and the shape of the vehicle just makes it like that. Another thing is, it has which is typical with small turbocharged engines, is like it has this lag, and then it just like jumps, you know. It feels like it's not powerful, and then all of a sudden, bam, it kicks into gear. Yeah, so it's a little bit, especially when you're in tight space and you want to kind of move, and then all of a sudden it kind of lurches forward, and then you're like, whoa, I don't want to go that fast, you know. In the open road, once again, it's not really a big deal. And yeah, that shift, that 8-speed transmission, a little bit different shifting, but it's been getting pretty good gas mileage. 30 miles per gallon is what I've been getting on average, and that's not too bad considering a lot of vehicles with a tiny turbocharged engine, they kind of struggle. This one doesn't struggle. This one feels pretty strong. And it sounds pretty decent too, and fairly quiet. I noticed it has like some insulation around, kind of like wedged into some of the panels here, and kind of concerned about, you know, water retention in that insulation, because, you know, like I felt it and it was wet after a car wash, so, you know, definitely not shedding the water. It's retaining it in there, and I don't know if that long term could potentially cause a problem with, you know, rust issues or something inside the actual fenders and stuff. But and it's kind of weird the way it looks, but it does, you know, we do have a quiet interior. Very little wind noise, very little road noise. It's pretty good out on the open road. The steering is a little, I mean, it's a good steering system, but, you know, sometimes when you're kind of going through a parking lot or in a tight space or something like that, it just kind of feels a little, little stiff, I guess. I guess it's just depending on what your preferences are. It's not like it's really hard to turn or anything, but you know, I think in this type of vehicle, I'm thinking, you know, just like a family vehicle that you're driving around. It's not really a sports car. It's not really necessarily an off-road focused vehicle, but it is capable of going off-road. But yeah, it just feels like the steering would be a little bit lighter. So we're going 65 and feels solid. Now it doesn't have the adaptive cruise control, this particular one, and it doesn't have the lane keep assist system. It has like the type that bounces you back if you get too close to the line, so it's not really useful. It's not very strong and doesn't really do much for you as far as driving. So, you know, to me, it doesn't have a lane keep assist system. It definitely doesn't have an adaptive cruise control. So on the highways, you know, if somebody in front of you is going slow, you have to just, like normal cruise control, you have to adjust it and all that stuff. Not a real big deal. I've gotten spoiled with the adaptive cruise control. It's just so much more convenient. But yeah, this just doesn't have that particular feature. Just want to comment on the comfort. Not really particularly comfortable. I mean, it's not like a super uncomfortable, but I wouldn't want to take a long trip for my particular, you know, size and everything. This center console gets in the way, and I'm constantly resting my leg on it, and it's like a hard plastic, and it seems like it jets out further than what it really needs to, so it's like right in the way constantly. Also, the seat just is okay. It's kind of mediocre. It's definitely not a long-term comfortable seat that I would enjoy sitting in for a long period of time. You know, just like daily errands, stuff like that would be probably fine, but as far as long trips, sitting in it for a long period of time, it probably would be an issue. So me personally, I wouldn't buy it for a long distance travel vehicle.